Welcome back, everyone, here today, and we are going over Saturday matches. If you guys come back often, enjoying the content, like, subscribe, and check the description for my Discord and Twitch channel where I post updates when I'm uploading, when I'm streaming. And on Twitch, we have been streaming a lot of Rainbow, a lot of COD rank play, and we have streamed the X Defiant. By the time this comes out, X Defiant is over, but when that game officially comes out, we will probably be streaming that some. So let me know down below if you guys did like the X Defiant when it was out over the weekend, if you played it, and we'll get right into the matches. First match of the day was Los Angeles Thieves versus the Miami Heretics, and this match went to map 5. First map, Vista Hardpoint, Ghosty 30 forward 17, 250 to 164 LAT. Metal's the only one even on Heretics. Next closest is Real. Real's been playing really good for them. You got just 23 and 23 out of Metals, 23 and 24 out of Real. Vickle with an okay game, and Lucky 15 and 24. He had a bit of a rough one, especially in the damage department too. And then when it comes to Thieves, Joey D, 23 and 25. Crimp, 16 and 20. But with Nasty, 26 and 21. And Ghosty, 34 and 17. I mean, Ghosty he was on another level today. Then in the map 2, the way it goes 6 to 5 in the Miami Heretics on 6-star. It's good to see the new maps coming in. This map set was very fun to watch, besides really the last Search and Destroy, but they made it pretty fun to watch, even though that map isn't the best. But 6-star in here, 6-5 LAT. LAT was up 5-2, if I'm remembering right, and then lost it. So it's kind of a falter in their book. Joe deceives 8 and 8, Crimp 9 and 7, but Nasty and Ghosty both struggled this with 4 and 9, 5 and 9. Then we get to Miami Heretics, Real 8 and 5, Metals 9 and 7, Lucky 8 and 5, and Vickle 8 and 9. So pretty solid out of my hand. They were down, but they ended up coming back. It was good to see them actually fight back in this. And then we get to a high-rise control, 3-1 in the LAT favor. Ghosty, Crimp, and Nasty all had good games here. Joe, this was Joe's from being back now in the league. This was his This is his rough game here. In the response, he just wasn't really hitting. But we'll see as it gets closer. For Miami Heretics, Metals and Real has been doing good. Vickle did good last series, but Metals has been struggling, and Metals really did good this series. He got kills. He's still putting damage down. Like this map 3, Nasty with 30 and 17 has 6,600 damage, and then Crimp 28 and 20 have 5,000 damage. But when you go to, and even Joe that had 26 and 30, he had almost 5,000 damage too. So you know he's at least putting in shots. But why I'm making this point is Metals here, he had 28 and 25, and he had almost 6,000 damage too. So, like I was saying in yesterday's video, Metals on the AR, he is putting down so much damage, and I think it's really helping like Real get kills because he doesn't have to do as much damage to him. And Lucky, as I've been noticing, Lucky's damage numbers aren't as good, but Lucky's been playing really well, so we're just going to let him be at the moment. And then we get to a Rio hardpoint. This is where I thought Miami Heretics could take over this map. I thought this map could be theirs. And the last 2 days they have proved this they can be very good on this map. 250 to 149. And the big one in this, Joey D, 0.48, 14 and 29. I mean, and then Ghosty even 23 and 26. Crimp had a nice game at 26 to 24, Nasty 16 and 18, or 18 and 28, actually. But Ghosty putting down a lot of damage, but when it comes to it, Joe just had a rough map here. But when everyone green carpet on the Miami Heretics, Metals 1.61, Lucky 1.61, they both went 29 and 18, and Metals 500 damage more. So Metals is putting down the damage. I'm a big fan of Metals. he was the one of the top SMGs in the game, and then they dropped Journey, and then he fell off. So I feel like there's something that's been going wrong, and I want to see him do great. So I'm so excited to see him dropping these numbers, dropping a lot of hill time, not yeah, dropping a lot of hill time with almost 2 minutes in the hill. And I was kind of worried. He was really looking like he was not going to ever get back to that level, but this match really proved that he can get back there, because I was really worried. Last couple matches he has not like got over a .7. And then we get to the map 5, 6-4 on invasion, and when we get to the Miami Heretics, 4-8 lucky, medals 5-7, Real 9-6, Vickle 9-6. But when it comes to LAT, that closed this map out, Ghosty 7-5, Crimp 11-5, and Crimp being 11-5, that was really big. But the biggest clutch of them all was a 1v3 by Daniel Ghosty on 420. You know, blaze them up, Ghosty. But he clutched a 1v3, killed one mid tank. Someone shout out Dark, killed him, and then killed the runner from A Bomb, I'm pretty sure. But that was a 4-4 round, and then he closed it out 5-4 there, and that basically put the nail in the coffin. And I mean, Miami should have won it. They should trade him out right away, but they just could not get the trade. So that's what happens. But LAT closed us out 6-4. Really good win by LAT, even though one of their players, kind of like Joe DeCease, he was kind of getting slammed. He dropped a .77 this match, but they still won. I know it's against Miami. Miami's looking better though, so this is a good win. Keep the points going because they are competing for that top 5 spot. And then we get to Vegas versus Optic Texas, and this was pretty much just a speed run through the match. First, Optic 3-0 them. First map, 250, 214. Asim drops a .55. It was looking very rough for him. He started out like 3 and like, I don't know, 18 some, or not 3 and 18, but he started out really bad, and then he picked it up. But then as the match went on, he just couldn't pick it up even more. But even in map 1, Attached 29 and 19, Geo 26 and 26, Nero 26 and 21, Dashy, Kenny, both on Optic Texas 28 and 24, Shotzi rough map with a 20 and 27, and Pred 21 and 23. It was an interesting thing that Shotzi and Dashy were kind of hitting at throughout the match and after the match. They said Vegas's playstyle just is weird, and I kind of get that because when you slay by, you got 10, 5, you got out. So between Attached, Geo, and Nero, you are plus 15, and then with Asim, you're still plus 1, even if with Asim dropping a .55. And then on Optic Texas, they are a -1. But with the slaying advantage even, and you lose by, well, I mean, you lost by 35, but the hill time, like, no one was getting in the hill. Like, I'm surprised this even closed out in a point score, because the hill like was just white almost the whole time, especially the first round of rotations. And I thought that was very interesting how Legion played that. And Asim not having numbers, that might be just how Legion is playing. We might have been wrong with Purge, with how much he meant to the team and what he had to do for the team because of Vegas's play style. We get to map 2, 6-4 on invasion. Asim 6 and 8, Attached 5 and 7, Geo 8 and 8, Nero 8 and 7. But when we get to Optic Texas, Kenny drops 1 and 8, but the Predator 13 and 5, almost 2,500 damage on the map. He was making the plays, really bailed Optic out, with Dashy and Shotzi coming along too. And it was very interesting to see Invasion, how that was one of the most competitive maps, 6-4, especially with a new team just formed. Like, it's not like they had scrims, for 2 weeks, but this was a week and they had to play. So even getting kind of slammed by Optic like this, but that's impressive though. Being you lose by 35 points, you lose by 2 rounds, and then 2 rounds on control, which we are getting into now. 3-1 on high rise. Uh, Kenny with a 28 and 17, Pred 25 and 14, Shotzi and Dashi kind of rough maps. Then we get to Legion, Asim 16 and 22, Attach 15 and 22, Geo 14 and 19, Nero 25 and 22. And on this, I don't know what the heck Legion was doing because when Optic was talking about it, it seemed like they just did not want to like get on point and like they just totally did not play together. Which they've only been together for what, a week now? Not even a week probably. So that's might be something just they just don't know how each other play off each other, so they're still doing it, still trying to mesh together. Um, Overall thoughts from this, I don't take too much from it. It is a probably a top 6 team going against a top 3 team, but I mean, Optic came out, they proved that the top 3 are in their own echelon, and with New York, as we get into, looking really rough right now, the top 3 are the top 3, and Optic keep on proving that they can beat everyone in the league besides FaZe at the moment, and Legion. It's Nero looked really good this map. He was turning on people like Pred on Karachi. I mean, he turned on him. Um, Asim, rough game. It is hard coming into a team this late in the season, like for not even a week of practice, and you're playing with them. So, well, I hope to see more from him later, but we'll see next week how he ends up doing, and we'll get to the next one. Then we'll get to the Seattle Surge versus New York Subliners. And this went to a 4-map series. First map, 250, 141 Karachi. I think Seattle was up, I don't know, 100 and something points before Subliners wanted to play. And then once Subliners wanted to play, they came back a little bit, but it was just too late. And when you have Kismet 13 and 24 and Hydra 18 and 24, that you're just not going to win very many hard points. Skies Sib even at 21-21. Skies with a 25 and 14. Pretty good game out of him, but when your subs are just not slaying out at all, it's going to be a rough match, especially Hydra, your MVP, controller play of the year last year. I mean, he was everything to them, and when he's just a little bit struggling in this game, it's hard for New York to compete. Then we get to Seattle. Brezzy had a series this game. He had a 26 and 19 in the first hard point. Abuza 04, both 18, 19 and 18, 20 and 19, both around a 1.05. And Abuza still soaking the hill, getting all the hill time. And Hook having an okay map. Then we get to Invasion. We're like, okay, Subliners 6 forum on Invasion. Subliners are back. And really, it was the Skies and Kiz show. Hydra 5 and 7, Sib 7 8, but Kiz 11 and 7, Skies 11 and 4, and for Seattle, I mean Abuza 3 and 10, Brezzy 6 and 7, Hook 8 and 10, but 04 9 7. 04 has been looking better in search since he's played more matches, so that's good. That's exciting to see that he was brought along as an S&D kid and he's proven he can be a really good S&D player. We get to the map 3 and trouble alerts. This was literally an auto win for Subliners, but Seattle come out. I don't know how they did it, but 3-1 Subliners. 04, 24 and 23. Abuza 20 and 21. Brezzy 23 and 22, and Hook 24 and 15. A 1.6 during this map. He looked really good, taking routes, just being up in their face. Hydra didn't play bad. Kismet played okay, but Sib 12 and 25. Sib really let them down here. And Skies even 24 and 19. He was the best player for New York this series. But right now there is just a disconnect. I know there's a little like clearly New York is just not as good at this game as they were in Modern Warfare 2. And I mean, when you have literally the MVP, controller player of the year in that, and he's probably not going to be like the same next year. Like there's levels to what he did last year. And I mean, he was literally every time he touched the controller last year on a map, he was the best player no matter what. Like he was insane last year, and this game I don't feel like he's as good. He's still great, but when he's frying, the team is doing good. But when he's struggling, the team is struggling to kind of help him. And a lot of it is just holds. I think people are just getting through on their hard points, and they've always been a solid search team, but they've been able to win controls or hard points to really help that. And right now, their search is kind of falling, even though they did beat Seattle, which is a very good sign. They beat Seattle. I would have been probably a little bit more worried if they would have lost their search and then won maybe like a respawn, because search is going to be their bread and butter, and that's how they're going to beat the top teams is through their really good search. But they just need to find some hardpoint maps where they can hold setups and actually hold it. Like I don't know what they're doing that they're just throwing all these setups, because them constantly have to break. When they break, it looks good and they're fine, but you can't rely on a break every single game. When it comes to Seattle, I mean, Brezzy looked well this 2 games, Friday, Saturday. Hook played okay. 04 looked a little better. He's getting more comfortable, and Abuza's pretty solid. I'm still waiting for Abuza to have that like breakout series, show why he was the #1 AR in challengers last year. But Brezzy, after people calling for his name, he's looking better, looking a lot more comfortable. He's making plays in search and not doing. He's doing his job in the respawns. If you guys let me know down below what is wrong with the New York subliners at the moment, and make sure you guys like, subscribe, check the description out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Just get hit with the biggest nade.
Trophy and hill.